Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Westbrook Brewing Company out of Charleston, South Carolina. This is their 8th anniversary beer. You see the 8 there. This is a Pecan Cookie Stout. Imperial Stout with pecans, winter spices, and vanilla. And on the back it specifically says... Oh, no, it doesn't say that. Maybe a description I read somewhere else. I think it's like cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg or something like that. But I've not had this before, so I'm pretty excited to open this up. Pretty much any stout I've had from Westbrook has been good, so even the non-barrel aged ones. So we're going to give it a go here. Oh, and it is 9.0 ABV. So you can see it pours a pretty dark brown color, really nice head. Definitely on the darker side. You know, it's tan. It's definitely darker than beige. That's usually what I look for in stouts. If the head is just like that beige color, I just have this feeling that there's not enough roasted malts in it. Usually, the darker the head, the more I'm gonna like the stout for whatever reason. I know there's a lot of there's so many different things that go behind it, but that just seems to be a factor in it for me. Yeah, and that head seems like really pillowy and like it's just sitting on top of the beer. It's not dissipating at all, which is always a good thing. So I do get a little bit of a nutty character. Definitely some cinnamon, some chocolate, and some roasted malt. But I will say that it's not. The spices and just like the general aroma is not like nearly as in your face as some of their other stouts, which could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing because I don't necessarily like when things are over adjuncted or spiced or whatever. So we'll see. It's pretty nice. You know, the one thing that I love about Westbrook is they really know how to make like a nice full-bodied imperial stout without it being like so thick that it's syrupy, and without it being overly sweet because there's just a crap ton of residual sugar in it. And this definitely fits that bill. It has a lot of heft to it. But it's not super sweet or like syrupy. It actually, so you definitely get like cinnamon and nutmeg. I'm not getting any clove, and to be honest, I don't remember if that was in this or not. But if it was, I'm not getting any of it, which is a good thing because I don't really like clove that much, to be honest. There's a lot of dark chocolate in the back of this, and it's actually coming off like kind of hotter than I would expect for it only being 9%. Or maybe I can't tell. I honestly can't really tell if it's like alcohol heat or if it's just like hop and roast bitterness. I do get some ginger too. Now that I go back and drink it again, definitely a lot of dark chocolate. It's almost like bitter dark chocolate. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of weary about this one only because I am generally weary about like spiced beers in general or spiced stouts. I've definitely had stouts that were where the spices were way more heavy-handed than this, like the Fauna Flora one. But the Fauna Flora one, like the beer itself was softer, so I feel like it kind of muted it. Like the spices were really heavy, but there was still a lot of like chocolate and stuff in it to kind of balance it out. This doesn't have as much of that because it's not very sweet. It's not even that chocolatey. It's kind of just roasty and bitter on the back end. So there's really not much in it. I guess there is a little bit of vanilla, but it's not that big. It's not cutting into those spices as much as I would probably like. But if you like Christmas spices, I mean, I would be all over this. I think it's really well made. This one's more of like a personal preference thing rather than the quality of the beer. But I will say, I think, so I have a bottle, they did a barrel-aged version of this in maple bourbon barrels. I think that the sweetness from the maple and just the barrel itself, the implied sweetness from the barrel is really going to cut into that roasty bitterness and the spicing and make this a really, really nice barrel-aged stout. You know, there are some beers that are, when you drink them fresh, you can almost tell that like it was basically intended to be thrown in barrels. And it's kind of aggressive on certain ends, but it's only made that way because they know that they have to be aggressive on those ends for it to not be completely consumed by the barrel once they barrel age it. And I kind of feel like that's the case with this one. And I do get that they could, add spices after the fact, right before they take it out of barrels or, run it through it before they bottle it. But I don't know. I'm kind of just balancing between calling this a drink or a buy. But I think, if I'm being completely hedonistic and talking about just my own preferences, I'm going to have to just give this one a drink. I'll get through the rest of this bottle, but it won't be easy. The other thing is, this is pretty warm. I like to drink stouts at a pretty warm temperature, but ones that are especially spiced or that just brings it out so much more. I feel like if this was cold, a little colder, it would make it the spices wouldn't pop as much, which I think would be a good thing for this beer. But in general, I'm just going to give this a drink because I can't think of a reason why I would want to go out and buy this again. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's well made. It's just I'm not a big like spice person. If I was, I would definitely be seeking this out though, because I think it's a really well made beer, like all of their stouts are. I just don't love spices. It's kind of the same as the Scotch cake. I don't mind Scotch, but when stuff is Scotch barrel aged, it's just so Scotch forward. It just overpowers everything, and I just don't like it. So, no matter how well made the beer is, it's just a preference that I don't prefer. So, but I think that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.